All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started. We want to thank everyone for joining us this Friday morning for our Friday webinar series. And we're excited to have with us Zach Parker from GTL. Just a couple house cleaning notes. First off, we will be recording this, so if you have a desire to view this later for some additional information or you missed part of it, we'd be happy to send that information to you for your viewing at your leisure. Also throughout, if you do have some questions, you can preferably type in a question. Between myself and Zach, we'll try to make sure that that gets answered while we're on this webinar. And if for some reason we don't answer that question, we will try and get to it at the end of the presentation. Also, if time allows, at the end of the presentation, if we have a smaller group, we may be able to unmute you and let you ask your question live to either myself or Zach to have that answered. So again, just a couple housekeeping notes. Again, we want to thank everyone for joining us. We know your schedules are busy. We hope you're getting ready for a nice weekend, and happy to have you with us on our Friday webinar series to cover the GTL carrier product portfolio and to also get some sales tips from Zach, who is working with independent agents like yourself all over the country, specific to the GTL products, of course. Zach comes to us from the home office of GTL in Illinois. Insurance Advisors Direct, we've been a longtime partner with GTL, working with many of Zach's counterparts and with their organization for many, many years as an FMO. So we're excited to have them with us and excited to hear what's new and to learn some maybe new tips and tricks when it comes to presenting the GTL product portfolio, as well as presenting these types of ancillary products to your clients. So again, now to get started, we're going to do this a little bit differently. We're going to start off with more of an interview with Zach to hopefully give you guys some new ideas, tips, and tricks. And then we're going to have Zach go into some more specifically about the products and just kind of give you an overview of what's new, what's hot, and even some of their new technology or enrollment options. So again, thanks for joining us, Zach. And why don't we go ahead and get started? The first question that we've gotten many questions on and we'd like to pose to you is, why do you think it is, or what do you hear about GTL that makes you guys different, and are some of the reasons why independent agents choose to sell GTL?
Sure. So thank you so much, first of all, Jason, for having me today. I'm really excited for this opportunity. I would say it's some of the things that agents are doing to be successful, and what GTL does differently is, first off, GTL is always looking for new ways to fulfill the market, the needs that we see, whether it's through a new product, whether it's through adding new riders, or just simplifying the way agents can write business. Now, part of that ties into why agents tend to sell GTL more often than the other carriers, is that we have a huge suite of products already. Our claim turnaround is about 2 weeks right now, sitting at. We've heard from the field, our e-app is very, very easy to maneuver around. I mean, just recently, about 2 years ago, we were approved with an A-, AM Best rating, which has turned into a huge success point for us, being we get new companies calling in to get contracted with us, new agents, like they're looking for that A- rating just to be able to sell us. That's been huge for us. And yeah, I mean, we're just pretty much looking for new ways to write business. Like I said before, I mean, I'd stay tuned because we have a pretty big announcement coming up here in the next couple of months regarding a new product. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. No, those are great reasons. I do agree. We started in the earlier days with GTL, and sometimes it was a little challenging with the B rating. But that upgrade to A-, I know it's well deserved. You guys have done a great job building to that. And the product portfolio is awesome. We get great comments and feedback from agents about the different products, some of which you'll cover today. Some of the unique benefit structure, making those products a bit more competitive. Like you said, the enrollment process is very easy. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you want to get into this today, but I even saw an email blast from you guys recently talking about a new way to write business. So I don't know if that's something you can share with us ahead of time.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be
Okay.
more than happy to go over with that.
Okay, excellent. So next question we have is name your top 3 products. What do you primarily see agents selling, and maybe a little bit about why?
Top 3 products are going to be pretty easy in order. Is going to be our Advantage Plus plan. It's a hospital indemnity product. We have our short-term home health care plan, and then lastly, our precision care cancer plan. Our first one, Advantage Plus, is pretty much our bread and butter product. It goes hand in hand with Medicare Advantage plans. It fills in the gaps that the insured's left on the hook for whenever they go to a hospital. And next, we have the short-term home health care plan, which covers an insured for any home healthcare services they need in their house when they're unable to perform any 2 of the 6 activities of daily living, or if they're cognitively impaired. We saw a recent spike in that last year, actually, in terms of production due to the corona pandemic. And with now more than ever, insureds are wanting to receive their care at home rather than going to a facility where they could possibly contract something. And then lastly is the precision care cancer plan, which is one of our newer plans. This is a cancer plan. It pays a lump sum benefit, but in addition to that, GTL then sends a copy of the biopsy to a third party, TGen, which actually just, runs a test of it and sees which types of treatments or medicines can be taken to increase the insured's chance of not only covering the costs of cancer itself, but in actually beating cancer. So those 3 have really, really been good for us this past few years.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. No,
Mhm.
those are great products. We've, I myself have personally worked with those, and we've seen those really take off over the last few years. So great to hear. Hopefully everyone heard that. I know it seemed like I lost some audio for a brief second. I'm not sure if it's me or what's going on. But anyways, that's awesome. So now, what would you say, Zach? What do you feel, and what are maybe you hearing from agents about GTL and how you guys are doing it differently or how you're doing it better?
So how we're doing it better is we try to always innovate. We're never really happy with staying complacent, and that starts all the way from the top. Our CEO, Rick Holston, does a great job of preaching to the sales managers, to everyone throughout the company, that we always need to find new ways to innovate. And part of that, I touched on it already, is we're always looking for new products. So you'll get an announcement in the next couple of months here about one of those. In addition to that, we're always adding a new rider, which will again be a part of one of the new products that we saw a need for in the market. So we're going to address it. And aside from that, I mean, we really, really do take pride in our customer service skills. You're going to find our team, our customer service team, when they're there for you, they're going to do everything within their power to resolve your issue, help your client, whether they need to reach out to your client and you can't, we'll go ahead and do that for you. And that also holds true with our sales support department. Those are going to be that's going to be the team that the agents most likely reach out to for any product questions, any walkthrough help within the e-app. We really do take pride in helping the agents. We want to make everyone know that we are here to serve them.
All right. No, that's awesome. Those are great reasons. And then what would you say, when it comes to obviously sales, maybe even marketing of these products that we've talked about, we get a lot of agents who are either newer to these types of products, or maybe they're not real comfortable or used to cross-selling or package selling, because obviously your products are a great fit for, under 65, over 65 Medicare products, great complement to those benefits you're already providing or bringing into those individuals' homes. What do you hear from your successful agents? What are you seeing them doing to better utilize these products? Doing a better job presenting and selling these products, package selling with these products. What are you seeing those successful agents doing?
Got it. So yeah, our successful agents, this is direct, like from the agents that I work with. They're raving constantly about GTL's cross-selling tools that we have available for them that they use on all of their appointments. We have a consumer video they show in their appointments that really kind of, for lack for a better word, but it dumbs down the product for the insureds to kind of make it easier for them to understand and grasp. They use those. We also have mailers that we can provide to the agents. They're constantly sending them out. In addition to that, like they just want to follow up with all of their clients just by hammering the phones. We'll preach this. Any other agent knows this, that they need to hammer the phones and follow up with the clients in order to sell. You have to ask the question in order to get the sale. Now, for those who are kind of a little newer with selling these types of plan or cross-selling, GTL actually offers, we have for agent use, we have a consumer presentation that we put together for the agent to use, available on our agent portal. Now, on these new appointments, or if on these cross-selling appointments that agents do go on, we definitely recommend you bring with you a scope of appointment form, just so you're even able to talk about GTL's products. Otherwise, you're going to have to follow up with them at a later time. But yeah, our successful agents are very, very familiar with our portal. They're always hammering the phones. They want to make sure that our agents are taken care of, and we do believe they are.
All right. No, that's great. And, in addition, because I know you guys do have some great tools and those are fantastic. If you're appointed agent and you don't have access to those or would like to see those, please let our sales team know and we'll make sure that we put you in touch with those. In addition, Insurance Advisors Direct here is a full service FMO. We too have a full package and cross-selling system with these products. We have a lot of items that we have provided to these successful agents that they too are using to make these products easier to present, presenting effectively with a package solution, and then ultimately making their sales success that much easier, because it is more difficult and challenging. If you're taking somebody, who has never been in Medicare, never had to worry about purchasing insurance, this is a whole new world for them. And now they're thrust into that. They're learning everything they can. You're trying to simplify it for them. And now all of a sudden you want to add on other products. So there's a very simple but effective package approach that we recommend. And we do provide materials, training on all of that. So to even supplement what GTL is doing and the great tools they're providing, we also have some tremendous tools that you can benefit from if you get appointed with GTL and work with Insurance Advisors Direct. So I just want to make mention of that. So appreciate it, Zach. Anything else you'd like to add? That was kind of what we had hoped to cover from this interview portion.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great. Great little idea to throw in before the presentation.
Okay, good. Well, with that, we've got some additional information. We want to dive a little deeper for everyone into more of the product details, give you kind of a 30,000 foot view of some of those. Maybe Zach can talk a little bit more about new ways to introduce business or write business, the enrollment tools and so forth that make it really easy with GTL. So with that, Zach, I'll just turn it to you and let you take over with your screen.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jason. Alrighty, so just to introduce myself again, everybody, my name is Zach Parker. I am one of the sales managers here at GTL, and I just kind of want to give you guys a brief little overview of the suite of products we do offer at GTL. Before we get started, if you do want to jot down my personal contact information, you can go ahead and right now and do so. If you ever do come up with any questions later on down the road, just feel free to call or email me at any time, and I'll make sure you get taken care of. First, I just want to touch a little bit about GTL. Now, we're located in Glenview, Illinois, a suburb outside of Chicago. We were founded in 1936. We are a mutual company licensed in 49 states. And as I mentioned before, we're very proud of our AM Best A- rating now. And we have $0 of debt on the balance sheets. Now, here are our products that we do have offered here. We have our Advantage Plus. We also offer a Medicare supplement, Recover Cash, short-term home health care. We have a life insurance policy now, GTL's Heritage Plan. We have cancer, heart attack, and stroke insurance, which is a standalone lump sum product. And then, like I mentioned before, we have our Precision Care Cancer Plan as well. Alrighty, now most of the time, your clients are going to call you asking to lower their out-of-pocket costs after they have a health event. So you kind of want to get your get out and around the topic and make sure you recommend any of these products before that comes. And more likely than not, they may be declined. If they do tend to call you after the fact, they might be disqualified from the actual product. First, just a brief little overview of our Heritage Plan. It's a typical graded benefit whole life insurance plan. Issue age is ages 40 through 90. It's available in 48 states, the exceptions being New York and California. The benefits range anywhere from $2,500 to $25,000 for both male and female. We have issue age rates with a level premium and we do offer an auto premium loan. As for the underwriting on the Heritage Plan, it's simple, accept, reject with 5 yes or no questions. There's no height and weight guidelines at all. No additional underwriting upon submission, such as an MIB, RX check, PHI, none of that. Social Security drafting is available. And then if any questions do come up, underwriters are also available to help pre-qualify any insured. And here's a quick little preview of the underwriting questions. It's just within the last 2 years. Have you been receiving any kidney dialysis, required continuous oxygen use, have implanted defibrillator, received or had care by a member of the medical profession to get an organ transplant? And then within the past 2 years, have you been diagnosed with or treated for any Alzheimer's, dementia, or memory loss? Are you currently diagnosed or receiving treatment by a member of the medical profession for invasive cancer? And are you currently bedridden, confined to a hospital, nursing home, have any hospice or diagnosed with terminal illness, anything along those lines? And then lastly, have you been diagnosed by a member of the medical profession as having HIV, AIDS-related complex, or AIDS? Pretty simple. Now, how those benefits are paid out, the death benefit is paid out in year 1 is the premiums paid plus 5%, and the death benefit in year 2 is 50% of the face amount. Death benefit in year 3 is then 100% of the face amount. However, GTL will pay the full face amount on any accidental death that happens in year 1 or 2 under the temporary accidental death benefit. All right, next, kind of want to touch on Advantage Plus. This is our bread and butter product. It's the hospital indemnity insurance policy. It's available for sale in 44 states now, with the exceptions being in black here. Now, however, clients can use the coverage in all 50 states if they do have a policy, and let's say the insured ends up traveling to California where it's not available, they receive any care there, they can still take advantage of the benefits there. Now, you can use your GTL policy with all MA characters, and there's no certification required. Now, here are the base plan options. Yep.
Sorry to interrupt real quick,
Go ahead.
Since we have a number of agents in Florida, what was the situation with Florida?
So Florida, it's actually not called Advantage Plus. It's the same product. It's called Hospital Indemnity Plus. With that product, membership to the SBSA membership is required. That's how we had to write it, so it could get approved in Florida, but it is the exact same policy. As for the base plan options on Advantage Plus, you can choose up to a $750 per day hospitalization benefit. There's a 3, 6, 10, and 21-day benefit period. And for those benefit periods, you can see the options to your left here on the screen of the amounts that you can choose from. On a 3-day plan, the minimum is $350. On a 6-day plan, the minimum is $250. And on the 10 and 21-day benefit periods, the minimum is $100. And we also added a new 1-day benefit period. Now it's pretty much just a lump sum payout. You'll choose a benefit anywhere in between $1,000 and $200 or $2,500, which would include a 25% short stay benefit for any hospitalization that ranges from 12 hours up to 24 hours. Included in the base plan are the benefits below. There's an emergency room benefit. They'll get $150 if admitted to the hospital within 24 hours due to an accident or injuries, or there's also a mental health benefit, which will pay $175 per day for up to 7 days if confined to a hospital for a mental or nervous disorder. And here are some of the riders that we have available as well. We have an ambulance rider with no hospital admittance required. This will just pay anywhere from $50 to $400 in $50 increments anytime the insured does need a ride to or from a hospital. We have a short-term duration rider. Like I said previously, it'll pay for a hospitalization for anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. We have a lump sum cancer rider. Included in that is an in situ benefit or stage 0 cancer at 25% and a skin cancer benefit that pays out $500. We also have a skilled nursing rider. 2 options on that one. Option 1 pays the insured days 1 through 50 in a nursing home. They can select to be paid either $100, $150, or $200 per day, or they can go with option 2, which will pay them for days 21 through 100, and there's a fixed benefit amount with that option being $120 a day. And we also have a critical accident rider, covered any events such as accidental death, an arm fracture, hip dislocation, knee tear, any sort of event like that. And then we also have an outpatient surgical rider that is payable up to 2 times per year. Now, here's how to cover the money out of pocket exposure with Advantage Plus. You can see rates here. For example, this is going to be on an insured who is aged 67, a 10-day benefit period with $300 per day with a short duration stay rider added on, as well as the ambulance rider, lump sum cancer, and or the skilled nursing rider, option 1. You can see the rates, for example, located on your right here. You'll see the first 3 option, which is really good coverage. They're under $40 a month being covered for those 10 days, $3,000 available of benefit per benefit period. And then the riders added on would bring your total monthly premium up to $81.88. Next, I want to bring you guys right over to cancer, heart, and stroke insurance, as well as our precision care. I'm not going to really highlight too much of the cancer, heart attack, and stroke because it's a traditional lump sum policy that is pretty much built into our precision care policy, which I'm going to highlight for you right now. First, we want to go over the precision care state availability. All states here listed in red is where the product is available. Those in gray, it's not. Now, first, we want to go over what's included with our precision care. You'll see here we have lump sum coverage available up to $75,000. There's access to genome sequencing by TGen. That's the third party we work with. It's a nonprofit out of Arizona. You have access to physician consultation with TGen. There's a 25% experimental treatment benefit, 25% cancer in situ benefit, and access to Ask Mayo Clinic benefits. Additional options such as riders. We have a benefit builder rider available, child coverage rider, and we also have 3 return of premium options. And here are a couple sample rates for you. Ages 45, 55, and 65 are covered, both male and female. And like I mentioned, you have the access to genome sequencing and a physician consultation. You get the $10,000 lump sum example, 25% experimental treatment benefit. Now, what that 25% experimental treatment means is that if you do undergo a treatment that's deemed experimental by the board, they'll then receive an additional 25% of their base plan benefit. So, for example, they have a $10,000 lump sum, they get an experimental treatment done, they then receive an extra $2,500. And that's precision care in a nutshell, pretty much. Next, we have our Recover Cash and short-term home health care insurance. The Recover Cash, I'm not going to highlight as much today. I'm more going to focus on the short-term home health care. Recover Cash is a short-term nursing home option. Benefit periods are up to 360 days. They'll be paid per visit that they're in a short-term nursing home. But we're going to focus on home health care today. Now, here's the state availability again. Color-coded. The purple states are where short-term home health care is available, and the red states is where it's not. This is still relatively a new product for us, so we're still working with the states to get it in there, just not yet. Now, if you have clients who are currently taking any prescription drugs, have not planned for any future care, whoops, sorry about that, and their parents may not count on them for future care, if they can't afford or qualify for a long-term care policy, or if they're not already receiving care and do not have difficulties with any ADLs, or if they don't already have a cognitive impairment, they'll be glad you tuned into this today because we're going to go over how to address those needs. Now, with the home health care plan, there's 3 options to choose from. There's Plan A, Plan B, and Plan C. Plan C is going to be the most comprehensive plan, with Plan A being pretty much the bare bones of the policy. Now, this is going to cover any home healthcare services listed below in this table. We'll pay up to that amount whenever an insured is deemed unable or unable to perform any 2 of the 6 activities of daily living, or if they've been diagnosed with having a cognitive impairment. You'll see how the payouts are broken down per plan in the chart below. Let's say, for example, the insured has Plan C. The max benefit an insured can receive per day with Plan C is $450. But as you can see here, most of the care plans will only pay about $200 per service. In order to get to that $450, they would then have to use 3 of the services down there, in which we would pay the full $200 for 2 of those services, and then an extra $50 for the third. So say they get physical therapy, speech pathology, and occupational therapy all on the same day. We'd pay the full $200 for 2 of those, and then the max we'd pay on occupational therapy would be $50 in order to receive the full $450 amount. In addition to that main benefit, we have a home health care aid benefit as well. The dollar amount paid out on that is also subject to which plan that you have. You can see that illustrated in the chart to your right. We'll pay either $40, $80, or $120 per day, and this would eat into the plan maximum per day. So for example, you have Plan C, you have home health care aid come in for a day, that $450 then turns into $330 that they have available to use. What the home healthcare aid benefit is, though, it'll pay for a licensed nurse to come into the client's home and help them actually perform those activities of daily living that they cannot do so on their own. Whereas the other benefits are more geared towards the rehabilitation process. This is actually helping them perform those activities they can't do on their own. And then lastly, we have the prescription drug benefit, which is such a good benefit on this plan. We always get agents calling in telling us, how can you guys do this? Or how can you guys afford to do this? Because most of the time, this actually, like if the insured takes full advantage of the prescription drug benefit, the amount of money they get from the prescription drug benefit ends up being almost equal to or more than the client's annual policy premium. So how it works is that the insured will then send in the receipts for any prescriptions they receive throughout the year, and GTL will then pay them a dollar amount based on whether it's a generic or brand name drug. So we'll pay $10 for any generic and $25 for any brand name drug. Now, this is any prescriptions, these prescriptions that are even covered. The insured doesn't necessarily have to pay for any of these. They can already be picked up by any of their other insurance. All they have to do is send in a receipt or notice from their pharmacy saying that they did receive these drugs. They save up those receipts, send them out to us. We'll pay them up to $600 or $300 per year, depending upon which plans they have, as illustrated below on the bottom right-hand corner.
And Zach, they would of course have to be on claim to submit those.
No.
Oh, no.
Nope, they do not have to be on claim to submit these. These can start day one of the policy. No waiting period on these at all.
So just having this plan immediately makes you, makes this available to you to start sending in those receipts for what you're using on your prescription drugs.
Yep.
Wow, that's great. Okay. Quick question on this too.
Sure.
When you talk about the different services and levels of service and reimbursement, do you have to set this up through like a licensed certified home health care agency, or can you bring in unskilled homemaker services?
It would have to be licensed through an agency.
Okay.
Yes. All right, and here's a little more detail about it. The home health care plan has a max benefit period of 360 days. Now, this isn't calendar year days. These are only benefit days. What that means is a day of the plan will only come off on the days in which you use service. So in theory, this plan can last much longer than 360 days. If, for instance, the insured only needs services on 3 days out of the week, it'll end up lasting a lot longer than 360 days. However, if for some reason the insured ever does run out of covered days, the policy does restore after 180 days in which they no longer receive services, and a doctor or licensed healthcare practitioner has deemed them no longer cognitively impaired, or they are unable to perform any 2 of the 6 activities of daily living. And as you can see in the chart here, for a maximum benefit period, this is the amount of money they could potentially get. Under Plan A is $54,000, Plan B is $108,000, and Plan C, $162,000 of maximum benefit is available.
Okay. And Zach, if I could just jump in there real quick.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, I've been in this industry for about 23 years, but my start was actually selling long-term care policies, home health care policies. So something that we've worked with for many, many years, and we still continue to promote. This need has not gone away. The industry has faced some challenges, but of course the need still is there. More people every day need these types of services. And just to point out a couple quick things that Zach mentioned, this plan is great if it's not counting the days you're not using. There are some plans out there that you have a 360-day window. You start that window and it's up in 360 days. In a home care setting, that's not a realistic situation. In a home care setting, a lot of times you'll have maybe some skilled nursing coming in a couple days a week, some unskilled homemaker a couple days a week, and then more than likely you'd have some family or someone else helping a couple days a week. So as Zach mentioned, if you're not using that care or maximizing that benefit on a daily basis, and those dollar amounts carry over or do not count against you when they're not being used, that's a huge bonus with this product that's going to extend the lifetime of this plan, make it work in the real world of how benefits are delivered in a home care setting. And let's face it, when we talk about extended coverage, long-term care, short-term care, facility-based care, home care, I mean, statistics show 85+% of people would rather stay in their home and have that care delivered. So this is a great product, and the fact that those days unused do not count against you is another awesome, piece to this benefit package.
Yep. Perfectly said. All right. And just to touch on this a little more, all of these plan choices are also going to include the Ask Mayo Clinic benefits. And now here's just a couple example of what the rates will look like under plans A, B, and C. Something to note here, though, that these policyholder premium rates are based upon attained age, so that anytime an insured does enter a new age bracket, the rate will then increase on that policy's effective date. It's typically about every 5 years or so, as you can see illustrated below for you, but that's just a good heads up to know for whenever you do head into appointments, your insureds are going to want to know that. All right, now here is a really, really cool rider we have on the home healthcare plan. It's a hospital indemnity rider. It pretty much works the exact same way as our Advantage Plus plan does. However, it's subject to whatever plan you do have, A, B, or C. You're only going to be able to take out X amount of dollars based on that plan. Like with plan A, you can only take out a max of $100 a day. Plan C, you can take up to $300 a day. And the benefit period is only going to be for 3 or 6 days. There's a 6-month pre-existing conditions limitation on this rider. But something that's really cool is that if you ever have an insured or client that does not qualify for the Advantage Plus because they were knocked out due to health questions, you can write them a home healthcare plan, sign them up for this hospital indemnity rider to get around those questions that they weren't able to pass, because the home healthcare products application questions are a lot easier to get approved for than the Advantage Plus ones. There's only 2 that they have to fill out, 3 if they want to get plan C. And here are examples of those rates here. Issue ages for 40 through 85 on this. You want to note here is that these are also attained age rates. These aren't issue age rates similar to Advantage Plus. These ones will also increase anytime they do go up an age band. Now here, I want to go over some of GTL's cross-selling tools. That's pretty much all I had on the product side for today. We have these infographics, which is pretty much our consumer video condensed into its own flyer. A lot of agents fold these up, mail them to clients if they want, or they'll bring them along with them on their appointments. It just goes over a claim example pretty much. We have one for the hospital indemnity plan. You see short-term home health care, as well as precision care as well. Now, how does cross-selling work? Let's say you're on an appointment, you're pretty much signing them up for whatever MA plan they do have. All you want to do, the thing that probably creates the most success is what I've heard, is just asking the question about the other product. Who do you have your cancer insurance with? The insured's going to think, oh, hey, I actually don't have cancer insurance. Like maybe I should have it. If he's asking me already, who do I have it through? Then you can bring up the fact like, oh, did you know that on average, the average person is going to spend about $10,000 out of pocket, like in addition to whatever insurance they do have, just on trying to cover the treatment and expenses of cancer. Can I show you this cool GTL product that'll take care of that for you after we're done here? They're like, okay, yeah, sure. I'd be really glad you told me about that. It's that simple. Ask the question, present your materials, show the GTL consumer videos on your appointment. It's going to be that much easier for you. All right. And now, as I mentioned before, this is just going to be really quick. How do I transition to a hospital indemnity sale? You'll go over all the plan benefits here of a sample MA plan that they do have. You'll see at the bottom here, they have all these copays still that the client will be on the hook for. They have an annual out-of-pocket maximum of $5,000. A copay per day, days 1 through 6, a $0 copay on any days after 6. So they can be exposed for potentially 6 days of $250. That's where the GTL saw the need for their Advantage Plus plan. And now if this concerning to you, I have this plan to talk about you after we're done here. This is where you're going to bring up your scope of appointment, have them let you know that you're talking about any supplemental insurance as well. Does that sound good to you? No one's going to really say no. They don't want to just pass up any opportunity to cover any loose ends or be exposed to anything. Now, many clients have healthcare coverage designed so hospital stays leave them with $0 out-of-pocket expenses. Would you like me to try to design a similar healthcare plan for you? Again, this is Advantage Plus. And right now, I have an Advantage Plus consumer video I'm going to show you guys. Really, really informative.
So you just enrolled for Medicare Advantage health coverage. Great choice. Did you know that there's a way to protect you from the out-of-pocket expenses you incur when using your Medicare Advantage coverage for hospitalizations? Help fill any gaps in coverage and strengthen your financial protection with an Advantage Plus hospital confinement indemnity insurance from Guarantee Trust Life Insurance Company. Since 2005, GTL's industry-leading Advantage Plus has been helping clients lower or completely eliminate their net out-of-pocket expenses stemming from Medicare Advantage copays and deductibles after a hospitalization event. Coverage is affordable and pays policyholders directly based on their time in the hospital, regardless of any other healthcare coverage they have. In addition, you can incur potential out-of-pocket costs for ambulance trips, outpatient surgery, skilled nursing, critical accidents, dental vision, or cancer treatments. Advantage Plus can help. Advantage Plus is offered year-round, and it's guarantee issue for ages 64.5 to 65.5. Now let's take a closer look at how it works. Meet Brian. He is 65 years old, and his Medicare Advantage coverage leaves him responsible for a daily hospitalization copay of $250 per day for his first 5 days in the hospital. The high copay is a concern for Brian. There's an easy way to help alleviate his concerns. A GTL Advantage Plus hospital indemnity insurance policy provides a restorable 6-day benefit period of $250 per day for $22.64 per month. Brian later suffered an illness that kept him in the hospital for 5 days. After the first 12 hours in the hospital, his Advantage Plus coverage kicked in. What is the out-of-pocket cost he will incur when he leaves the hospital? With his Medicare Advantage $250 per day hospital copay, his 5-day stay totaled $1,250. Luckily, Brian's Advantage Plus benefit of $250 per day for 5 days was paid directly to him and completely covered the cost. Instead of worrying about how to pay this large sum, Brian could focus on his recovery without this financial setback. GTL's Advantage Plus is flexible and versatile, with a strong set of riders to match the desired coverage for each policyholder. So what if Brian had to take an ambulance to the hospital for his illness? Adding the ambulance rider to Brian's coverage would cost him less than $5 a month, and Brian would receive $200 each time he uses an ambulance, even if he is not admitted as an inpatient. Now is a great time to think about GTL's Advantage Plus.
Alrighty. So that's an example of one of the consumer videos that we do have available here. Those consumer videos are also available for short-term home health care and precision care. You can find those located on our agent app or our e-app through the agent portal. I do want to touch a little bit more about our e-app platforms. We have an app that you can download on any device you have, whether it's an iPhone, Android, even on like your Surface Pro, we have apps available. Or if you just want to go on your PC, you can just visit our website at gtlic.com, click on agent login, retrieve your credentials, and get in there. Now, what I do want to mention, Jason, you mentioned earlier that we sent out an email about a new way to write business. So essentially what we're now allowing the agents to do is sending in any pending application to the insured themselves to fill out some of their information, the plan benefits, and they can send it back to the agent to then submit. Whether it's they're at their home, they can't get to their insured, their insured's not comfortable entering or providing their own bank information, the agent can then just send it straight over to the insured, have them take care of it themselves, and send it back so they can go ahead and submit. I myself will actually be giving another webinar on that entire process next Tuesday at 2 p.m. If anyone does want to tune into that, I'll let you know the ins and outs of all that at that time. But that's going to be the new thing that we do have available.
All right.
And yeah, that's pretty much all I had. I mentioned that earlier today is that GTL, we want to make it a point to let everyone know we're here to serve everybody. My contact information is located here again for you. And then next, you're probably going to want to jot down our sales support contact info as well. It's 800-323-6907 or agency@gtlic.com.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Zach. We do have a question at this point. And again, we'll have a couple moments for questions here. So if you have something you can think of, type that in or raise your hand and I can unmute you. The question is, can you send videos like this at any time? And the answer is simply yes. This is not a Medicare Advantage product that is filed with CMS. These are products that are health insurance products that are filed with the states. So there is no restrictions. You can send these at any time from a marketing standpoint. And again, GTL has already done their due diligence in creating these videos, making them available for use with the public. So you are free to use those at any time during the year. So any other questions? All right. A couple, as maybe you can think of some, I'll give you another minute here. A couple things I'd like to just kind of circle back on and point out that Zach had mentioned. Of course, the hospital indemnity plan does cover observation. So that's important. Many of you, if you've been doing this for a while, have seen the transition from people that used to be admitted to now people being put into observation. So the good thing is this plan has adapted and will cover observation. And both models that Zach talked about, from the 200, 250 a day for a window of time or the lump sum, is also speaking towards the different clients with the different coverage options they may have. They may have a Medicare Advantage that leaves that dollar amount for a period of time, $250 a day for 6 or 7 days. And so again, you can custom build the product to fit the benefits needed. And the lump sum, maybe that's a perfect fit for like a high deductible G sale, or in the past used to be a high deductible F sale, because again, they're going to leave that Part A deductible on the shoulders of the individual. So when that occurs, these plans come in and can help. So ultimately, great products that can service the different needs and the different company of the different plans that you're currently selling. And again, for a low cost, I mean, I don't know about you on this today, but when presenting Medicare products to individuals and you start talking about here's what you're potentially at risk for, here's some of your potential costs, you start getting up there into a few $100,000, they start making comments. You can tell they get a little uncomfortable, start making comments like, well, I can't afford that, or what would I do? Again, especially if you're going into like a $0 Medicare Advantage program, something very low cost like this to wipe out what potentially could be a very difficult cost for them in the future is a very smart way to present these products. In addition to that, Zach, something else you mentioned, the lump sum cancer. Great product. And I know you gave the sales tip with just one question, who do you have your cancer insurance with? That is a great question. As a matter of fact, one of the top cancer producers for a carrier out of Colorado, that was all she did to sell, a few hundred cancer policies. And these were not new clients. She actually went back to existing clients and she did just that. She said, who do you have your cancer insurance with? They said, I didn't know that such thing existed, or I don't know if I have any. An appointment was set. She went in, explained it. The good part, I guess good and bad, is unfortunately we all know somebody. We've all experienced loss in our lives, maybe personal experiences, close family, friends. This is a real thing to people. And if they know they can have a solution to cover those costs, especially experimental, or if they want to go somewhere else to use those benefits and not rely solely on their insurance, trust me, I've had plenty of personal experiences of people who needed those types of dollars to get the treatment that was required that maybe health insurance would not approve. And so if you're not asking your clients if this is a concern to them, it really is something you should start doing, whether it be someone over 65 or someone under 65. And I used to talk to people all the time and say, hey, and I know now we don't have to ask necessarily health questions for insurance, but you still should ask questions. What are your concerns? What are some of your health issues or family health issues that you've experienced? Is cancer something that you're concerned about? As soon as you open that door, people start talking to you about their family challenges and the scares they've had or the concern they have. How would you like a solution that could help pay for those costs if it ever were to occur? Most people say absolutely. They're not talking about cost. They're just talking about value. They're talking about solutions. So asking those questions are a great way to present these products, and even just keep it simple. Who do you have your cancer insurance with? So, that was a great tip and something hopefully all of you can utilize. And then I talked a little bit about the tremendous, value of that home health care product. So, if you haven't been in that market and you need some assistance, again, reach out to our organization. We have a lot of experience selling long-term care, home health care, nursing only products, and would love to help give you some of our sales tools, tips, tricks, anything we can to get you more comfortable with that space, because it's a real problem. Unfortunately, many of us or family, friends, as they age at some point in our lives will need additional assistance, either at home preferably or in a facility. So it is a real problem, and it's a heavy cost. Home care services, especially skilled home care services, can be a few $100s a day. So it does add up. So we would encourage you to make that part of your solution process when you're talking to people who are in that right age. And there is no determining as to what the right age is. Really, some of it depends on the concern of the individual you're speaking to. But certainly as people get into their 60s, it should become more of a real concern. So with that, we'll see. Do we have any other questions before we wrap up? It doesn't look like it, Zach. So I think you covered it well.
Good. If for whatever reason anyone does come up with any questions in the future, just feel free to reach out directly to me and I'll go ahead and take care of them.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you coming on, sharing some great insight on the GTL family of products, as well as some of the reasons why you as independent agents should be selling GTL. And as Zach mentioned, if you have additional questions, reach out to him. You certainly can reach out to our sales team here to get some additional information. If you're not contracted, we'll be following up with each of you to help get you the information you need, as well as to get you appointed if you currently are not appointed. And we certainly look forward to working with you and continuing to grow your sales in the direction of these ancillary products that are very important and very useful. So again, thanks for joining us, Zach, and thank all of you for joining us. And we hope you have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend ahead.
Awesome. Yep. Thank you again, Jason. We're excited for the rest of the year.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
All righty.
Take care, everyone.
Take care, everyone.